Miles Burrows, a retired doctor, and have published 3 books of poems with Carcanet. This forthcoming book is called Slow Puncture. I tend not to polish dreams or found objects or interpret them, but leave them as broken fragments, dug out of the earth. They're more eloquent. They have more to say if you don't say it for them. I don't work on poems much, but let dreams work themselves. It's what could be called a dream work. The dreams themselves are the ones doing the work, if you let them and don't fix them. To exist is to be running away. Galaxies run away. Some creatures are migratory. We don't ask them why. Solvitur ambulando. If you have a problem, take a walk. It's solved by taking a walk. Like migrating birds, I feel most at ease when acting, especially as Richard II, but also in Noel Coward. Real life is acting without a script. It's more difficult because you have to improvise. I studied medicine with Chekhov in mind. My favorite doctor was Chekhov. My favorite role was to be a gypsy fortune teller in a tent at the Fulbourn Revolutionary Psychiatric Hospital. You can tell what people are like when they dress up for charades. I wanted to be Madame Zaza, the fortune teller, at the hospital fete. Madame Zaza, in my tent with the Kabbalistic signs. People come into the tent wanting to believe. They queue up for their fortunes even long after the fete has finished and the police dogs are back in their van. The queue went right down over the hill to the entrance to the hospital. They'd rather have Madame Zaza. The director, Dr. Clark, had already knocked down all the exterior walls and allowed the resident patients to go out to the local pub. The pub keeper was worried. His customers felt uneasy. Did the patients talk too loudly? No, the problem was they were too quiet. The main theme is avoiding responsibilities at home by foreign travel. It is touching to see foreign life in its different forms. In the camp in Thailand for Hmong tribal refugees, in their black and scarlet clothes, a child has just died. His shirt is hanging up outside his hut. The empty sleeves are waving in the wind. In Taiwan, Filipino girls are pushing old people in wheelchairs every morning into the shade under a large tree. Like the tree of life, so many wheelchairs. You can't expect him to do anything about Granny, they say at home. He's in the Aleutian Islands. Experiences help me to write. I have lots of notebooks from New Guinea and Thailand and Taiwan. In my brother-in-law's house, I worked containing in his room 16 stray cats, which he had more or less tamed and escaped often at night and caused anxiety, hiding at midnight beneath the parked cars. They needed a sympathetic person to deal with these cats in their droppings in the garden. And in the morning as well, they had squabbles and leadership and had to banish would-be leaders. I'm not a cat person. I tried to work on this new book in the early morning before the sun had risen. I don't do much work on them, like polishing an object. How did it feel putting together this collection? It's like things you dig up that could be bits of fossils or broken bits of some sculpture. I felt like dreams, like they had a certain quality, and they were already the ones that were doing or have done the work. What is called a dream work. So to polish them or work on them or to rhyme them or scan them or interpret them or add or subtract would be a pity because they'd lose some of their many possibilities because they became too fixed. Well, the dream work is being done by the dream itself. My friend Heather tells me I have a quasi-sibylline tone, i.e., I'm like some old woman sadly mumbling like an oracle hanging upside down in a glass jar from the roof of a cave at Kumi. And people, children mostly, ask, "What do you want, Sibyl?" and her replies are difficult, but half listened to, like oracles, and they're written down to scatter about with the other answers on the floor of the cave. I could be the answer to a different question that someone else has not yet asked. You could say, I have a quasi-sibylline tone. My favorite piece in the new collection is For Death, Press 1. My favorite piece in this new collection is For Death, Press 1. I like it because it's a bureaucratic parody of things we're always getting through our letterbox or phone. For death, press 1. For all other inquiries, please hold. Thank you for calling death. You have the option to hold 1 or let go 2. Thank you for holding. My name is Franny, short for Francine. Please be patient with us at this difficult time. On a scale of 1 to 5, please grade your difficulty. If you are calling about a loved one, press 1. If it's about someone you feel a social obligation towards, press 2. If it's about someone you wish you had loved but now it's too late, press 4. You have pressed 11. 11 is not an impatient form of 1. It is its own number. It's like looking into a driving mirror. If you are driving, pull into a designated parking space. If you have a smartphone and a film of a morning chaffinch, press 1. Thank you. You have pressed morning chaffinch. My name is Francine. Now everything is done through Siri. She always asks me to press 1 or 2, even questions involving life and death. I miss chatting in the Riley with my dad. In early days, Dad would give me advice, sitting in the open Riley in the garage as we stared out at the whitewashed back wall, like critics looking at the backdrop of a modern play, the stirrup pump, the folding canoe. The most important thing in life, Roo, he said, and paused again. I was Rupert Bear in the Daily Express. I waited, wondering what it was to be. Be true to yourself. Listen to your heart. It's foot comfort. Get yourself a decent pair of shoes, broad fitting, with a decent welt. Makes a whole difference to your life. I'd go for brogues. Lokes, Emma Loke, comes to the tennis club. Dad had even slit the sides of his shoes with a razor blade, as if to remove any further anxieties about being cramped. He made his snap decisions with his feet, by reflex, even before the brain had time to react, as if he was on a squash court. This was the secret of his success in business. Quick on his feet. His motto was, get there ahead of the scrum. I will read the poem, Father and Son. The most important thing in life, said Dad, sitting beside me in the open 3-liter Riley, in the garage, facing the back wall, like critics facing the backdrop to a modern play. The stirrup pump, the folding canoe. I waited. Was it going to be religion? Romance, most topics usually avoided, in favor of sport and infringements of yacht racing rules. How to avoid jibing when going anti-clockwise round a half-sunken buoy on a port tack after a windward competitor. What was a typical conundrum to be solved in committees with card table chats and tiny modern boats. Or else it was to do with tennis. Whose point was it if the ball stuck in the racket handle, in the gap in the frame which joins the round bit? Urgent opinion was sought by telephone. I waited, looking out at the stationary vehicle at the back wall of the garage, the hose, the folding canoe. It's to get yourself a really good pair of shoes, he continued, after a pause. Decent, broad-fitting, with a good welt. You can't do better than Lokes, local family firm. Kathy Loke, Radcliffe Road, comes to the tennis club. Puts a spring in your step, affects your whole attitude of life. I'd go for Brokes. I played with a cigar lighter in this walnut chessboard. "This is my boy," he would say later on the hunting field, as if putting forward an item of dubious provenance. I'm retired now. I try to keep fit by doing yoga, tango, and playing ping pong under the beech tree in the field. Trying to do a forehand shot at ping pong, I usually do a backhand on either side, like backhanded compliments, backhanded poems. I was always good at the death posture at Miss Piper's kindergarten, kept quite still. All the other children were squirming about. I seemed to be a natural for the death posture. Our yoga teacher says, breathe out very slowly and completely, like a slow puncture, which is the title of my new book, Slow Puncture. Yoga teacher says each posture has a mood like music. Sometimes a song can make us want to dance. Another time the same tune makes you sad. Don't suck in air too quickly, but breathe out like a host who keeps his guest at the doorway, reluctant to let him go. Her words are like spring water. After class, I see her standing in the dark street, talking into her mobile. I offer her a lift, in my confusion, forgetting I have no car, and my bicycle has no light. A few lessons in tango, I have to get real. Though Frank did say you're a cool cat, you got it tonight. Perhaps the book could be called Dancing with a Chair. Dancing with a Chair. In old age, he took dancing lessons, influenced by the philosophy of his old friend Dr. Mitskin. In old age, he took dancing lessons, moving from Ross Street to Pretoria Road, where women melting in a trance became supple as young girls. Upstairs in Zion Baptist Hall, it's keep your shoulders down, as if wading up to the knees in sand, and squashing a balloon between two chests. Never lose contact. Lean forward from the ankles, bottom in, then straight ahead. It's Piazzolla. Chin back. Look after her. Be unpredictable. Dance there upon the shore. And later make expansive gestures to an empty room. Now I'm enjoying the remains of the day. Sometimes this couplet, lending, comes to mind. Lending. She lent herself to love as a pavement after rain.